Hola.
Donald, how you doing?
Excellent. How are you, man?
I'm doing well.
Good
Got
to
the
hear.
we both got nice setups here, don't we? Got the
I
mics.
know, huh? I need one of those plaques behind me.
I need the lights behind me.
Oh, I see. We'll swap. I'll get you some lights. You help me get one of those clips.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll get another one together.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Hey man, I'm excited for today. This is
Yeah, it's gonna be
going to
awesome.
be good to kick things off.
Cool.
Yeah, typically how at least how I've been running these so far is people usually join about 2 minutes late.
Of
Usually
course,
a
I always do.
lot of people come on in then. So yeah, typically I just give people the agenda, and then we'll have
I got
some
a
time.
slide deck.
Got the slide deck, and then we'll have some
Well,
time
I
for
always
Q.
have a. Just so you know, I always have a slide deck.
You're the slide deck guy.
I love slide decks. I like visual. I'm a visual organizer, so I need like visual stuff. So
Well, I think most people are too. Some people hear the words with their ears, and some people hear it with their eyes. So,
restaurant business, right?
um, yeah, but yeah, I mean, pretty simple. I'll just do an introduction for you, and then
Cool.
we'll let you take it away, and
Yeah.
then
I got a little bio slide in there, so I'll go a little bit
oh,
about my backstory about how I started out in the restaurant business. So
yeah, that's perfect.
little little edge.
Yeah, so
People jumping
I'll
in, looks like, huh?
let you run the show a little bit there. Everyone's on mute throughout the call just because there's a
Yeah, I like that, like that.
an amount of people joining. Otherwise, it just
I
keep
always,
pushing
yeah, or
everyone.
else they're like their microphones are like super loud.
Yeah. And then typically I have at the end, if we have Q and A's that people want to put in the chat, we'll do that. Otherwise, some
Cool.
people like raise their hand and we can get them on to actually speak too. So either way,
Yeah, either or. I'm open
either
for
way
any kind of
works.
questions they have. So,
Yeah,
and I got a little like stack slides at the end. Talk about things
perfect.
a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds good. So
I
people
got a
join
couple.
here.
I got a couple of bonuses for people who show up today
There we go.
that weren't included. So
Bonuses all around.
bonuses, baby.
Yeah.
Stack
Hey,
it, right?
Peter, Lindsay, Toa, Lisa, Nick, how you guys doing? Lindsay,
Bonuses. Lindsay likes bonuses.
let's go. Bonuses.
I'm gonna flip my screen around so you can see my screen. How's that?
There we go. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody see my screen okay?
Oh
Type
yeah.
in the chat if you can see my screen. Got a nice group here. Ooh, more people coming in. More people coming in.
Yeah, we should have about double hopping in about 60 seconds. To where
Oh,
it's like two
yeah,
minutes, 2 minutes after, it's just like everyone's in.
2 minutes, everybody piles in. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, the webinar, the webinar.
Just give people a bonus for showing up on time.
Well, I am so excited to be here in your webinar community. I mean, new name, right? Restaurant growth.
New name, yeah.
New
Everyone
name, new
should
and
have seen the rebrand announcement, but people get a lot of emails, so they might not have seen it yet.
new name. New name, new possibilities. That's what I like to say.
Yeah. Endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been having some real nice conversations with prospects and with current clients about coaching stuff. It's just so obvious that it's a need. It's just something that could really help them. So we're excited to get this going. I think, us having that 6 month schedule as well
Yeah,
really
yeah.
help people plan and figure out which ones
Yeah.
they want to join. Hopefully everyone, but
Yeah, I'm a planner, so I like to give people enough, like, yeah, that one sounds good. That one, I'm not really going that, but that's okay.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we're gonna stay on that webinar schedule. So what did you post it?
I did. Yep. It's
Awesome.
posted
Yeah,
in the
we'll stay
group.
on track with that. So
Yep. Yep. Did that. So we'll keep people informed, send reminders as we go and whatnot. But it is the top of the hour, so we can go ahead and get started. Everyone, thanks for joining. Let's see who else has joined here. Mason, welcome in. Ole, welcome in. Shauna, welcome in, guys. Guys, today I'm really excited for the webinar. Today we have Donald Burns with us, the restaurant coach. Donald and our company have formed a strategic alliance to form restaurant growth. As you know, that we have rebranded recently from SkyTail Digital to Restaurant Growth. We still retain the same company ownership, the same type of focus on advertising, but we now are very excited to offer coaching. The whole coaching program is simply designed to help you increase your margins. Donald has an incredible track record, decades in the industry. He's got a team of certified restaurant coaches as well. One awesome fact that I love is usually able to help restaurants increase their margins by about 5 to 8% in the first 90 days alone, done it
Yeah.
almost 3,000 times. So we're going to be doing weekly webinars covering different topics here every Wednesday for the next 6 months. So make sure you guys keep coming to these every Wednesday. I'm going to let Donald take it over. I hope I nailed that introduction. You can kind of take it from there.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much. I mean, I'm excited to be partnering up here with Luke and Michael and the whole, SkyTel now restaurant growth team. And it's a great alliance for me too, because one of the things that my coaching programs were missing was the paid advertising. I mean, I'm really good at helping people get their organic game down, but man, the paid game is so complex. It's almost like being a sommelier in a restaurant. I mean, you pretty much could dedicate your life to learning about it, and it changes all the time. I mean, Facebook, Meta, I mean, they change things all the time, policies, this and that. You can't do this, you can't, what they just changed lately, you couldn't post, now you can't post to groups anymore. I mean, it's crazy. So I'm really excited about having their kind of expertise in the marketing realm to help my members too. So I think it's going to be a great partnership. And today we're going to be talking about cultivating winning mindsets, building resilient teams in hospitality. I'm going to take you through, and this module, this kind of workshop is going to be a little bit extra because I want to give you some base stuff about some of the coaching philosophies I teach. So I'm going to give you a little more kind of around the, basically take an extra lap around the block, as it would be. So let's jump into it. I have a couple books out there, actually quite a few books. My very first book is called Your Restaurant Sucks. Oh, he's looking for yeah. Oh, he's got the box set. Oh yeah, the Your Restaurant Sucks trilogy, the box set. My very first book is Your Restaurant Sucks, and in the very first book, the very first quote is this: "The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off." And it's so true. I mean, a lot of times, and I know being a restaurant owner myself, there was things I just didn't want to hear. Like, people tell me, "Oh no, I know what I'm doing," but I didn't want to listen. Now, I'm a big, huge believer in education. I love learning. I love growing. I love acknowledging stuff, just like taking information. Anybody ever been to Las Vegas, Nevada before? Type in the chat if you've ever been to Las Vegas before. Just type yes, Vegas, or Viva Las Vegas. Type in the chat if you've ever been to Vegas before. I love me some Vegas. I always ask people, what's your Vegas name? What's your Vegas name, Luke? Do you have a Vegas name?
I'm actually looking at moving to Vegas. So
Are you really? Awesome. Yeah.
permanently,
You're gonna have to get a Vegas name for sure. So I was in Vegas. I was at this big, huge, one of these huge, big seminars, these big, these big power speakers, these guys doing this big motivational stuff. So I'm taking notes like a madman. And I remember I'm sitting there and the speaker up on stage said these three words. He said, "Knowledge is power." He kind of said like Moses, "Knowledge is power." And I sat there for a second and I was like, you know what? Huh. I was like, that's bullshit. Knowledge isn't power. It's not. It's not. So, and you ever heard anybody ever say, "Hey, man, you just need more tools. You just need a new checklist. You just need a new software program. You just need this and that. You just get the new tools, you'll be fine." Here's what I want you to remember: tools are just potential. Tools themselves are just potential. A hammer on the table is just potential. It's not till I pick that hammer up and actually apply the hammer, and it depends on how I apply it. I can take that hammer, drive a nail into the wall, hang a picture of my loved ones, good application. Take that same hammer, turn it around in anger, hit someone in the head, go to jail for a very long time, bad application, bad result. So tools are just potential. You have to make sure that you are using the tools properly. I'm going to give you a lot of tools. My job as a coach is to give you tons and tons of tools. And as I give you more and more tools, your job is to find out which tools work for you, which tools work for your brand. And when you find the tool you like, pick the tool up, add it to your toolbox. But here's the thing I will tell you: use the tool consistently. Many times we have tools in our toolbox, but we don't pick them up and use them enough. So as we get started here, I want to lay down some ground rules for you. All right, house rules. Number one, want you to have some fun. I always think learning is always best when it's kind of, when it's accompanied by enjoyment. Number two, ask questions. You got a couple ways you can do it. You can either ask them in the chat, or we have a button on there that says Q&A, right, Luke? Yeah. So either way, you can just ask him in the chat. You can ask him in the Q&A. We'll answer them later. But I always say, if something piques your interest, ask questions. If there's confusions, ask. Right. And then number 3, remember and write this. This is a great hashtag. Hashtag WTSD. Hashtag WTSD. You're going to hear me say this throughout all my webinars. I will say hashtag WTSD. WTSD means, here it goes, write this shit down. All right. That's the gold nuggets. That's a little piece of information I want you to remember. I'm going to leave you hints. Sometimes they're very, very apparent hints. Sometimes they're going to be like little things, but I'm going to let you know if I'm dropping you a gold nugget. I'm going to say hashtag WTSD, write this shit down. Also, too, have a piece of paper and a pen for these webinars. Research has shown if you write stuff down in your own handwriting, you are 70% more likely to remember the information 30 days from now. And that is my goal. So Luke gave you a brief info. I am Donald Burns. I am known as the restaurant coach. I am a recovering restaurant owner. I have also been a consultant to some multi-billion-dollar food service brands. I've been a chef. I was a chef with Wolfgang Puck out in LA. I'm an author. I'm a restaurant investor. I'm a former member of U.S. Air Force pararescue teams. Like a lot of you, I started out in the restaurant business at 15, washing dishes. I started out, my father was a very, 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 very well-known chef in the 70s and 80s, and he was old school. So I started out like a lot of people washing dishes and moved up into prep, soon moved up into the line. I thought it was the best thing in the world. Started doing some line cooking. I would move my way up the brigade system. I'd do something to piss my dad off. I'd be back peeling vegetables. It was very, very up and down. My early restaurant career was very like a yo-yo. I'd move my way up, piss my dad off, peel vegetables. Move my way up, piss my dad off, peel vegetables. When I was 18, my dad told me it was in my blood. I said, I want a transfusion. I don't want to do this shit. So I did what a lot of people did. I went off and joined the military. I was supposed to go into language school, but then in basic training, this guy came and showed this film of these guys jumping out of helicopters, halo jumping, rappelling, combat search and rescue. I said, that sounds a lot more fun. So I tried out for a team called Pararescue. Super, super high washout rate, very, very special operations for the Air Force teams. I actually made the class. We started with 83 people. A year and a half later, 11 of us graduated, high washout rate. And then after I got out of the military, I went back to college, started working in restaurants again in college, found out without my dad yelling and screaming, throwing things at me, that I liked restaurants. So I decided to really dedicate myself. So I started working in the right restaurants, working with the right chefs. At 30, I opened my first restaurant. At 33, I opened my second restaurant. And then the story just kind of goes from there. I don't want to go too far, because I'm going to go into a little bit about my first restaurant in a minute. Hashtag, here's your first one. Hashtag, write this down. Restaurant success isn't rocket science. It's people science. Another one I will tell you is this. All your business problems are people problems. I did not learn this until I had my first restaurant. Now, I opened my first restaurant. You understand, I opened my first restaurant, I was 30. So by the time I was 30, I already had from 15 years old, I had quite a bit of experience, like 15 years in the restaurant business already, taking out my little time for the military. But I had a lot of experience running restaurants. And I thought that was what you needed. You know, hey, been in a restaurant for a while. I want to open a restaurant. Cool. Open a restaurant, put my sign on the door, say open. Man, it's going to be like crazy. I'd been a chef in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'd won quite a few awards by the time I was in my late 20s. Got written up in a lot of magazines, been featured in a lot of different things. It's a no-brainer. Here's the thing I will tell you, and you might be able to relate to this. When I opened my first restaurant, I knew how to run a restaurant, but I did not understand that there was a difference to building a profitable brand. Now, my first restaurant this is actually pictures of my very first restaurant, small little hole in the wall place in Michigan, 50 seats, open kitchen. That's me in the middle. Yes, I look a little different. I've taken better care of myself since then. But I would tell you, I thought when I opened my first restaurant, open the doors, a line out the door. I was going to have an armored truck carry all the cash away because it was going to be so busy. It did not happen like that. And I was really disappointed. And about 6 months into having my restaurant opened, I have to say that's when the nightmare started. Started waking up at 2 a.m, stressed out. Oh my God, payroll's due. Oh, sales tax is due too. Oh no, I just gave that vendor that big check. Oh, I hope it's busy this weekend so we have enough business to cover everything in the bank account on Monday. Ever been there before? Yeah, it's not a place you want to live. I always say, hope it's busy weekend to pay the bills on Monday is not a is not a strategy for business success. It is a strategy for stress, anxiety, burnout, and it was horrible. And I hate to say, I feel that I was in over my head, and it's a lot like getting thrown in quicksand. And here's the thing about quicksand: when people get thrown in quicksand, their first instinct is to fight. You don't understand this about quicksand: is the harder you fight, the more you fight, the faster you sink. For a restaurant owner, your way you fight is you put more hours into business. You just think that you can outwork the problem. That was my thing. I just thought I just need to work more hours. I'll get there earlier. I'll get there, stay there later. Forget my health, forget my family, forget my kids. I'm just gonna focus. I'll fix this, and then I'll go back and fix everything else that's wrong in my restaurant or in my life. And it was a horrible business decision. I did not know what I was doing, and sometimes you just can't outwork the problems. I was very fortunate. About 8 months into opening my first restaurant, and I was struggling. A very, very successful businessman in town who was a regular at my restaurant, his name was Peter, sat me down. He says, let's have the talk. And I'm like, all right. And he sat down and he says, I'm really worried about you. You know, of course, you try to play it all cool. Oh, yeah, everything's great. You know, and he looked around, there's like only like 3 tables. And he's like, you know, at this rate, man, you're not gonna be open in 6 months. You know, we're just a little under the radar. And he said something I'll never forget. He says, Donald, the last thing as a restaurant you want to be is under the radar. I was like, oh. And he said, you know, your food's really great, man. I mean, I love coming to your restaurant. The food's amazing. This teams, you train the team super well. We love your place. I'd hate to see you go out of business. He says, I'm going to offer you a deal. He says, I'm going to offer, if you can dedicate 1 hour a week to me, I'm going to mentor you. And he said to me this, he goes, if I gave you a combination lock, and I said, Donald, open a combination lock. I would say, well, I can't. He said, exactly. Because the combination lock needs a certain combination. There is a combination to restaurant success. And I will tell you without a shadow of doubt, I would not have believed this. I thought I knew everything about the restaurant. It was on the table, there was a bev napkin. Now, in my other office, I have a video studio next door. In my video studio, I have this bev napkin in my office in a shadow box. And he wrote down 3 words on this bev napkin. Peter did. He wrote down people, product, process. And he said, that's the secret right there. And of course, I'm looking at him going, that's it. It can't be that easy, right? He goes, well, it's not really that easy. Here's the secret. You got to have them in the right order. I was like, oh, okay. I knew there was something to it. Here's where all of you are going wrong. You have the combination backwards. Every restaurant in the world has all 3. You have people. I know you got product because you got a menu, and you know you got some checklists and some process in place. Here's where you've got the combination wrong. Most restaurants start with the product part because every restaurant has a menu. And then you realize, oh, damn it, I need some processes in place. I need some checklists, maybe some recipe cards, maybe a P&L, right? And then you say, oh, damn, I got to hire people. I got to get some better people on the team. I got to train them a little bit. I want you to remember this and hashtag write this down. People feeds process, process feeds people. What does that mean? Every month, one of my members will call me and say, Donald, I'm frustrated. I'll say, why are you frustrated? And they'll say, my team's not following the checklist. Can anyone relate? I'll say, well, what's wrong with the checklist? And they'll say, well, nothing's wrong with the checklist, Donald. You gave me the checklist. I'll say, all right, the checklist is good. Look at the 3P framework. It's the people part. They haven't bought into the culture. They don't know why the checklist is important. You haven't trained them appropriately, or maybe you got the wrong person on the team. Every month I'll have someone call me and say, I'm frustrated. And I'll say, why are you frustrated? Well, I went home this afternoon to go walk the dogs, and I come back and the team's just staying around. They're on their phones, they're texting, they're on social media, they're not cleaning, they're not doing any deep cleaning, not doing any side work. I'll say, well, they have processes in place. They have time processes in place. 11 o'clock do this, 12 o'clock do this, 1 o'clock do this. No. They should know what to do. Ooh, famous last words of every restaurant owner in the world. They should know what to do. They don't know what to do. You have to make it very clear with expectations and standards. Here's the thing I will tell you without a shadow of doubt. Doing this for 14 years as the restaurant coach, coaching 2,800 restaurants, I will tell you this. When people in process are solid, they basically form a protective barrier around your product, which almost the same thing as saying that people in process protect your brand. Now, that simple 3P framework that Peter taught me, I've expanded out into what I call the 3P framework. Every lock has another lock underneath it. So in the people part, there's another lock. Under the product part, there's another lock. Under the process part, there's another lock. If you want to grow your restaurant, if you want to reach profitability, it's really, really easy. All I will tell you is this: follow the process map. So in the people part, it's always mindset, your mindset. It's always culture and then hiring. In the product part, it's always food cost, then menu, and then marketing. In the process part, it's always system strategy, and then finally profitability. So a lot of people come to me, and a lot of you are probably facing the same thing, low profitability. And I would tell you, most restaurants who start in our coaching programs usually start at 5% profitability. So 5% profitability, and they're working, like, I mean, you're doing the same stuff over. And remember, Einstein said it best: the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's, you guys are on that kind of treadmill, doing the same stuff every day, thinking that's going to get better, going to change, you're going to be magically get different, your profitability is going to change. It doesn't work like that. People, product, and then process. So most people start with me at 5%. By understanding your food cost, especially that gap between theoretical and actual, because every month someone will call me and say, Donald, my food cost is 30%. Is that good? And I'll say, I don't know. And they'll say, what do you mean you don't know? Aren't you the restaurant coach? I'll say, yeah, let me ask you a question. What's your theoretical food cost? And they'll say, I don't know. I say, that's the problem. Because if your theoretical food cost is 28 or 30% food cost is actually pretty good, because you should be able to run around 2% above theoretical. Now, if your theoretical is 21, you got some work to do. Here's a really, really sad statistic, but you want to write this down. The average restaurant has a gap between theoretical and actual food cost of 9%. Just by understanding that gap between theoretical and actual, I can usually add 5% right away to your bottom line. So if you're at 5%, just by understanding that gap between theoretical and actual, now you're at 10. Now, once we have that food cost in place, now I can take that data and I can build a really, really highly profitable menu. Once I have a highly profitable menu, I'm going to add another 3% to the bottom line. So now you're at 13%. Now we let Luke and his team do their magic, because they're magicians at the marketing game. So now I got a highly profitable menu. Now I let Luke and Michael and all these guys at Restaurant Growth, I'm telling you, I let them open up the marketing machine. Now I'm at 15%. It will work. It works every single time. I've done it for years. It works. But you got to put it, just like that combination lock, you got to have them in the right order. I mean, it's easy. Luke will tell you, first thing, it's easy to flood your restaurant. He can flood your restaurant all day with people. You know, you tell him what your avatar is, what your market is. He can get some stuff going. These guys are geniuses at turning on the marketing machine and getting people in your door. But if your menu is not profitable, you're just going to bleed out slowly. That's the worst thing in the world. So what we decided to do is we want to help you fix that. We want to help you stop the bleeding. So actually, when those guys turn on that marketing machine for you, boom, now we got money in the bank. And then we put in that process part to protect it and actually grow our profitability. By the time people hit our profitability modules, they're usually at 15%. Now we start getting into that 16, 17, 18, 19%. The average client in my coaching program, the accelerator program right now, does 19.8% profit. I mean, we beat the trends. You know, the average restaurant does 5%. I mean, my clients do 19.8. It was 19.2. We actually just rose up. We were actually getting better. And here's the thing. That's when the economy is actually going to shit right now. So, you know, that's another thing, right? But when we look at this 3P framework, and over these next series of webinars, I'm going to take you down the rabbit hole on each part of this 3P framework. We're going to dissect it, put it back together, and I'm going to give you the tools to kind of start putting this model together. And it all starts with that people part. People is the driving factor, because without the right people in the place, without the right culture in place, nothing's going to matter. So I would say culture is a challenge. And here's the thing I will beg you to understand. All right. Understanding and investing in culture can be challenging for restaurant owners because it's not tangible. You don't see any immediate reward. I don't see Donald how investing in training my culture, changing me, changing my mindset, having core values. I don't see how that's going to help me out. It's hard to quantify, right? You know, because revenue, foot traffic, I mean, Luke will run data all day long, data points on your funnel, what's hitting, what's not hitting, where it's converting, not converting. That's easy for people to see. Sales, easy to see. Sales are up or sales are down. Guest check average, up or down. It's easy to see. Culture is hard because it's not really quantifiable. We don't really have any data on it. But here's the thing I'll tell you. A positive culture increases employee morale, It builds better teamwork. It improves guest services. These are the intangibles that are not directly appear on your spreadsheet. And it makes a challenge to get a restaurant owner to buy into why culture is so important, right? The effects of culture, long period, I'm telling you, it has such a huge impact over time that you would not even fail to understand it. So one of the things I like to talk about, and I actually will give you a real life story so you can see the effect on culture. Build your culture, build your profits. So I had a client, her name is Bella, and Bella was with me for a while, quite a few years. She actually sold her restaurant. She decided that she was getting older. She wanted to get out. She had an exit plan. She decided to sell her restaurant. Now she's living quietly in Key West, Florida, and living up to good life on her money that she made. And she cashed out quite a bit. So Bella was a real passionate restaurant owner, and she was really, I mean, the place was popular. Food was great. Service was great. Her profitability sucked. She was doing at the time, she was doing about 5% profit on $1 million in sales. Small little place, right? We realized, of course, that we had to take her down the rabbit hole. So we took her through that 3P framework. We understood that she had to follow the map. And that 3P framework is almost like it's a blueprint that blends together that people, then the product, and the process, and then that leads to profitability. So after she studied that 3P framework, we got her kind of dialed in on it. She realized that started with the people aspect, recognizing that her mindset, her belief systems were the foundation of the culture. And then we started getting in teams, right? Built the right teams using behavioral strength assessments, getting people aligned with their beliefs, getting people in the right spot on the right team, getting the right people in the team. And that actually started leading to lower turnover, which that contributed to around $10,000 to her bottom line just by dropping her turnover over. Everybody feel like sometimes your restaurant feels like a revolving door. And like, as soon as I hire someone, I lose somebody. It just seems like it's a constant, I'm always hiring, always training, always hiring, always training. That's a treadmill you want to get off right away. And of course, the product part, when I showed her about that theoretical versus actual food cost gap, I taught her a tool called the 40 Thieves of Food Cost. We got her theoretical down. We actually added another $20,000 to her bottom line just by doing that. Then we got her in that process part, got her going into understanding. Now she had that profitable menu. We got her going some marketing going in the right direction. We started getting her going things with getting her accountability checklist in place, getting a strategic plan, started really growing her brand. And here's what happened, right? I would say the system works. Her original profit was $50,000 on $1 million in sales, 5%. After integrating the systems that you will learn throughout these series of webinars, she actually found out that her profit grew quite a bit. All right. So her annual sales, $1 million. Annual profit was 50,000. Original profit, 5% margin. After implementing the 3P framework in the order, combination, people, product, and process, her sales grew, her profits actually grew up to 153,000. So she went from $50,000 to 153,000. We got her profit margin up to 15.35% in less than a year. I mean, from 5% to 15% is a pretty good deal. I will tell you, after she got this thing dialed in, then we actually got her to open some more restaurants. She actually got up to having 4 locations, and all her restaurants were doing like 1.5 million in sales. Each location was doing like 1.5 million in sales, and she was doing an average of 18% profit. So let's do the math on that. 1.5, right? 1.5 each times, she had 4 restaurants. She was doing 6 million times 18% profit. She was doing 1 million in profit. Now, when you sell a restaurant, you can usually get anywhere from 4 to 5 times EBITDA. So take her profit at $1 million times 4. She actually cashed out at 5x. So she sold all her restaurants for 5 million. I always say, now that I have your attention, let's talk about culture and how important culture is. So this is a kind of a map, a kind of a nice little framework I like to talk about. I call it the restaurant success pyramid. Every restaurant market has 4 different levels. There's bad, good, great, and outstanding. Now, wherever you're at, okay, is going to depend on what your culture's at. Bad restaurants are struggling. They're usually losing money or breaking even. Here's my note to you. Hashtag write this down. If your strategy is to break even, you need a better strategy. That's not a good strategy. We need to have a better strategy. My goal is to get you 15% or higher. That's my goal. All right. So most 20% of all restaurants in your market are struggling. They're bad. They're losing money. They're bleeding out. 60%, this is a sad statistic. 60% of all restaurants in your market are average. I mean, they're doing the national average. They're anywhere from 1% to 6% profit. And actually, the Restaurant Association used to say 6% profit was the average. Last year, they just revised that because of the economy. Now the average restaurant only makes 4%. It's getting harder and harder if you don't have a new plan, a new strategy, and new tools to implement. So 60% are all there. 15% are thriving. That means they're doing anywhere from 7 to 15% profit. And that top 5% are outstanding. That means they're doing 80% or higher. The top level is where I always say that's my goal to get all my restaurants to when I'm coaching all my coaches. Our goal is to get you to the outstanding level where you're actually driving the market. You own the market. You dominate. You don't have competition and you don't worry about competition. You make the competition worry about you. Now, here's the thing I want you to tell you about culture. Culture basically really kind of goes with the different levels. Bad restaurants have a toxic culture. What do I mean by toxic culture? This is where the team runs the restaurant their way. You've seen this before. You've probably been in a restaurant with a toxic culture where the manager's hiding in the office. He's scared to come out. The team runs. It's like the wild, wild west. They're doing shots, doing crazy stuff, all, comping stuff. Their friends are eating for free. They're snacking on everything. That's a toxic culture. Next level up, good restaurants have what's known as a training culture. Training culture is most restaurants are at, and they usually train on the front end. This is usually when someone gets hired on the team. Like, let's say I hire Luke. Luke comes in my restaurant. Hey, Luke. Hey, follow Joey around for 3 days. Do what he does, says what he says, and get out of my way. And then we do it. It's called a shadow method. So Luke follows Joey around for 3 days, and we call that training. No real continuing education, nothing really advanced. I just kind of turn him loose, and then that's what I get. Right. The next level up is where we want to start getting to. This is what we call a learning culture. This is where people in the team are actually curious. They want to learn. They want to grow. They want to develop. They want to become better. When they become curious, I can get them to that final level, which is leadership. The only difference between leadership culture and a toxic culture is this. The leadership level, the team runs the restaurant your way. That's a huge thing. Now, looking at this, bad, good, great, outstanding, where would you say you are right now? Where would you say? Are you bad? I always say, be honest. Be honest. Are you bad? Are you good? Are you between good and great? Are you great? Are you are you at the outstanding level? I doubt most people are ever at the outstanding. Every time I've done these kind of seminars, most people are usually they're at the good, or they might be on the border between good and great most of the time. 80% of all restaurants that start with me in my coaching program are at the good level, just so you know. All right. 80% of all restaurants that start with me are at the good level. Now, wherever you are, we have trainings and stuff to help you out. Okay. Just that you're on this call shows that you want to learn, that you want to grow, you want to be better. You don't have your head in the sand thinking that you can work through these problems and figure it out on your own, because you know that, man, what I'm doing is not working. So let's jump into some mindset stuff. So cultivating winning mindsets, building resilience in teams. I will tell you, in the world of hospitality, in the world of restaurants, the difference between a successful team and one that struggles is mindset. I know it's hard to quantify it, it's hard to measure it, but it is the truth. A resilient team, one that's equipped with a positive, adaptable mindset, they don't just survive, they thrive amidst the challenges. And trust me, this industry loves to throw curveballs at you every single day. Right? Drawing from my experiences, I'm going to give you some ways that you can start cultivating winning mindsets within yourself and then also within your team. Okay. Number one, you have to establish a culture of growth and learning. Remember, we talked about those 4 levels of culture. Most restaurants have a training culture. That's where you just train on the front end. You want to start making learning curious. How do you do that? Easy way. Share books, share podcasts, share YouTube videos, share some of the stuff you see in the webinars, share some of the trainings you get in the webinars, share anything. There's always ways to learn. The 3 most important traits. So a lot of people say, hey, Donald, I'm looking for a leader for my restaurant. What are the 3 things I should look for? I will tell you right now, here's the 3 traits you need for a leader. They need to be curious. They need to be action-oriented. And they need to be time-driven. if you want to have a great leader on your team that actually runs the show and doesn't have to, have you run them, you need someone who's curious. Curiosity is the best way to get teams involved in stuff. Now, what's that old saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That's true. But here's what you can do. You can make the horse thirsty. And what you do is you share experiences like, oh, hey, Luke, man, I read this really, really great book by, this guy, Will Griffith. He had this restaurant in New York, and it's called Unreasonable Hospitality. Have you read it? Oh, no. Oh, man, it's amazing. It's a great book. Hey, I got a copy. I'll lend it to you. Oh, that'd be awesome. Make people curious. When you make people curious, they want to start learning, and you start moving this team up the ladder from training to learning culture. I will tell you this also, too. You can't bypass levels. You can't go from a training to a leadership culture. A lot of people say, hey, Donald, I just want to go to a leadership. How do I just get that leadership culture? Well, unfortunately, you have to grow from a training to a learning culture, and then from a learning to a leadership culture. That's the way it works. I don't write the rules. I just understand how the rules work, and that's how the rules work. Right? You got to move that up there. Right? Emphasize the value of each person's development. Encourage a mindset that views challenges as opportunities to learn and evolve. You got to have that growth-oriented culture. That learning culture is the most important thing. When you start learning, sharing what you're learning with your team, it will spark curiosity. That leads us to the next thing, is that you have to lead by example. Right? Leadership sets the tone for team culture. You have to demonstrate resilience, optimism. It's so easy to get beat up on the day-to-day stuff that goes in the restaurant business. So easy to have your mindset suffer. You have to stay solid. You have to reinforce your mindset, right? I have my newest book just came out. It's called Savage Restaurant Success. I talk a lot in that book about mindset and about meditation, about developing that resilience, that optimism. And then you have to have a commitment to personally develop it, which, if you're on this call, congratulations, you took the first step. You're here. So that means, bravo, you are developing yourself by just showing up on this call, which is more than most people in the world will do. Most people just go to the restaurant, just complain and do the same thing every day and wonder, how come my restaurant's not getting better? Well, this is the first start right here. Investing in yourself, taking time to learn, grow, and develop is the most important thing you do. Share your learning experience and reflections with your team. Remember, it's like if you found like a really good, like let's say a really great restaurant, you tell your friends about it. Oh man, I went to this place. It was really, really great. Same thing. If you find like a really good book, really good podcast, a really good YouTube video, share it with your team. Now, is everyone going to listen to it? No. But here's the tipping point. You don't need everyone on your team to buy in. You only need about 70%. It's called the tipping point. If I get 70% of people on my team to buy in, I can get the culture to shift. That's what I need. 2 types of pressure in the world. This is the most important thing you remember. Hashtag write this shit down. There's 2 types of pressure. There's parental pressure and there's peer pressure. Parental pressure is you. Here's the employee. Every time you say something, parental pressure, what happens? Like, your parents like, clean your room, pick up your clothes, put your dishes in, don't put them in, put in a dishwasher. Parental pressure, people move away from parental pressure. Peer pressure is the other side. This is people in the team that actually they like, trust, that they believe in, that they would listen to. I'll give you a great example. Real story. My father was on my butt for probably 6 months to clean my room, clean my room, clean my room. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Didn't do it. I was into martial arts and I was in high school, but my friends were all in cross country. So I used to run with them to train because I liked the cross country. I liked the running, could help me in my martial arts. So one day it was raining. So we decided to go to my house, decided to go in my room. My room was a pigsty. One of my friends made a comment about how disgusting and how messy my room was. What do you think I did? Clean my room. That's peer pressure. You need both. When you have peer pressure and parental pressure and you squeeze people in between, it's called the diamond effect. That's what our goal is, right? So lead by example, get people on your team. Embrace and drive change. Change is constant. Oh, you cannot go through a day without having something come at you. There's different market trends. That's why you got Luke and Michael and the team over at Restaurant Growth to help you with the marketing stuff. Marketing stuff changes all the time. You have to have someone who's on top of these new trends, new things. I mean, so many things out there. So many things that you have to stay abreast of. Got to have some ways to get information and learn how to adopt new technologies. You have to have an enthusiasm for change. You have to embrace change, right? I would say there's There's only one difference between chance and change, one letter between chance and change. You can take a chance, or you can turn that N into a G and go to change. One letter to go from chance to change. It's up to you, right? Use change as a springboard for innovation. Use it to help improve service, efficiency, guest satisfaction, foster open communication. You heard me talk about this at the beginning. All business problems are people problems. Well, the other side of that coin is all people problems are communication problems, right? You got to have an informed team. Maintain open lines of communication. Make sure every member feels heard and valued. Regularly ask for feedback. Okay, talk to the team regularly. Anybody here do pre-shifts? You should be doing pre-shift every day. If you don't do pre-shift, hold out your left hand, take your right hand, smack it and say bad owner. You got to have a pre-shift. If you don't have a pre-shift, you get what you deserve. Unfocused service. Got to focus the team. Think about this. Everybody who comes in your restaurant who work, they have their life going on and they have all kinds of shit going on in their life. When they come in, they got a whirlwind of stuff going in their head. If you don't stop them for a second to pause, process, take a breath, refocus on what they're supposed to be doing, they're going to be all over the place. And it spills over into your service. Okay. Have that communication. Recognize and reward resilience. Recognition is the most powerful thing in the world. There's a thing all my members learn to do. It's called the Daily 5 Sermon. Daily 5 Sermon, we preach 5 things a day about culture. Talk about our mission, our core values, our vision, our standards, expectations, and then words of appreciation, affirmation. The 2 most powerful words in the English language are thank you. Yet we don't say it enough. I had a rule when I had my restaurant. I never left the restaurant without walking up to everyone in the team, looking them in the eye, shaking their hand and saying, thank you. I appreciate you being here, man. And you did a great job today. I really appreciate it. I never left the restaurants without walking up to everyone on my team and saying thank you. Now, here's a question, and be honest. Ask yourself. You don't have to answer it in the chat, but be honest with yourself. If I popped into your restaurant today and I randomly walked up to people on your team and said, when was the last time the owner thanked you? When was the last time the leader thanked you? What would they say? Would they say 100% every day? If you don't get 100% thank yous, then you need a little work on being a little more appreciative of your team. And you got to build that support system. You got to have that support environment. Okay. Support from peers and leaders. You got to have a culture that creates a supportive team environment. One team, one fight is a trigger phrase we use all the time. We always say one team, one fight. And how do you do that? Well, you do that by actually making sure that you start breaking down those walls between your team. What's the number one way we divide our teams up right away? Is we use words that basically divide people. Okay. How do we divide people? How do we divide people? By using words like front of house, back of the house. We're already dividing people like it's us against them. Any restaurant I've ever consulted with, worked at my whole life, I will tell you right now, is that you will have this wall. It's always what? It's always front of house versus back of house. Always day staff versus night staff. If you have multiple locations, it's always one location versus the other location. You got to stop the fights. You got to stop that. You got to pull this stuff down, right? You got to stop fighting with each other, okay? The most important thing you do is create a culture where everyone feels heard, acknowledged, appreciated. Okay. Let's talk real quick about the ecology of culture. All right. I'm going to flip my screen around here real quick. This is a beautiful thing. The ecology of culture. The ecology of culture. If I walked in your restaurant today and I asked anyone in your team one question, this is a great question to do on your team. And you're going to see how culture has a certain ecology to it. If I walked in your restaurant and asked like a server, who do you work for? Who do you think they say they're going to work for? Usually the manager, right? If I walked up to one of your line cooks, say, who do you work for? The chef. If I asked your chef, who do you work for? The owner, right? So most of the times when I walk into a restaurant, if I ask a team member, they usually say they work for the person above them. Oop. What did I just do? Hit the wrong button. So when I walk into a restaurant and I ask people usually, and I'll ask them like, who do you work for? Oh, that usually say they usually work for the person above them. So if I ask us, a line cook, they'll say they work for the chef. If I ask the GM, he works for the owner, right? If I ask the chef, he says he works for the owner. And if I usually ask the owner, they say, I work for myself. I don't work for anybody because I'm the owner. Hey, can you see where this is messed up? Hashtag write this down. Culture flows down. It does not flow up. Culture flows down. The way it should work is this. As the owner, you work for your leaders. Your job is to give them the tools, training, and resources and coaching they need to be successful. If I asked your GM, who do you work for? They should say, I work for my team. If I asked your chef, who do I work for? Who do you work for? They should say, I work for my team. I'm there to them. And then your staff should all say, I work for the guest. I just did it again. I must be hitting the side button. All right. And if I asked you, and they all say they should work for the guest. Now, here's how this works. It's called the ecology of leadership, ecology of culture. When the guest is happy, what happens? Money, money, money. And then who does that go to? That's called the ecology of culture. When you take care of the TX, which is the team experience, it takes care of the GX, which is the guest experience. But so many times we're trained and we have our team focus so much on the guest experience that we forget about the team experience. And that's where culture fails. Does that make sense? Yeah. Type in the chat, hell yeah, if that makes sense. Make sure you're still awake. Type in the chat, hell yeah, hell yeah. Culture flows down, it doesn't flow up. Hell yeah, yeah. I got some, yeah. Some people don't want to say it. I understand. All right. That is the most important thing you understand. Culture flows down. I would say if that was a gold nugget to take away, that's the gold nugget to take away for the day. Culture flows down, doesn't flow up, and culture starts with you. You are the epicenter. You are the creator of culture in your restaurant. Your mission, your core values, your vision all set the tone for your restaurant. Hashtag write this down. This is from my very first book. Restaurants become better when the people in them become better people. That starts with you becoming a better owner, a better leader. Now, if I was going to jump in a car and head to your restaurant and get in my GPS, there's 2 points of data I need in a GPS. I need to know where I am. I need to know where you are. If I do that, it gives me a route to get to your restaurant. And here's the thing about a GPS. It gives me the most effective route. Well, we have our own GPS for you. It is called our Restaurant Accelerator Program. The Restaurant Accelerator Program is the roadmap to get from where you are now to where you want to be. If you want to get from 5 to 10 to 15% profit to 19 to 20% profit, I have some restaurants in our accelerator program that actually do. I mean, it depends on your concept. Most of my pizza places do around 21, 22% profit. Some of my breakfast places do 26% profit. Some of my taverns do anywhere from 34 to 40% profit. Depends on your beverage mix, your food and beverage mix. All right. But this is the roadmap and is only offered through Restaurant Growth. I don't offer this program anywhere else anymore. It's only offered here. And the program is amazing because remember I talked about giving you tools? Well, what if I gave you tools for every part of that 3P framework? What if I gave you modules for how to understand your people part? What if I gave you workshops on how to understand your strengths and your mindset? What if I gave you step-by-step tools on how to get your core values out of your head, how to develop a mission statement that would actually create a culture of accountability? What if I showed you how to create a hiring system from scratch that would actually get you top talent? I mean, it teach you how to attract better talent, to interview better, to onboard better, to train better, to retain better, that it would drop your retention rate. I mean, it would improve your retention rate and drop your turnover so high. What if I gave you my step-by-step food cost program that you could actually understand that theoretical actual food cost gap and get your food costs as tight as possible? What if we gave you some menu stuff where you could actually understand how to really get your menu super profitable? What if we showed you how to take some of your organic game and up it? So that way, when Luke and Michael and the guys over at Restaurant Growth take your paid game to that next level, it really, really has a lot of traction. What if I showed you how to set up systems that people actually bought into and actually followed, and accountability systems? What if I gave you every damn download I've ever collected over 44 years? What if I gave you a strategic plan or maps that would help you have a yearly plan, quarterly plan, monthly plan, yearly, and a weekly plan? What if I gave you the path to profitability to get to 15 to 18%? Right? The accelerator program by itself, it's 90 hours of training. It has 380 downloads to it. Right? Inside the accelerator program, you get also a bunch of other workshops too. I'm going to give you my restaurant success series. That's a 4-hour workshop. I'm going to give you my 10X restaurant seminar, which is going to be another seminar. It's like a 4-hour workshop. I'm going to give you my level up system, how to maximize your productivity. I'm going to give you my outstanding mindset, how to set your day up for success. I'm going to give you my audiobook for Your Restaurant Sucks. Share it with all your friends. Also, every year I do a restaurant success summit. It's a 3-day summit. I do it October and at Scottsdale, where I bring in 6 speakers. We do 18 workshops over 3 days. I'll give you the recordings from 2023, 2022, and 2021. It's 60 hours of workshops of replays. That's amazing stuff. I mean, great speakers, stuff about marketing, about leadership, about anything you can think of. We got tons of stuff in there. I'm also going to give you my 3 Frames to Thrive series, which is part of the accelerator program. You get that Team 1-1 team is all about strengths and mindset. All right. Also get Pro Scans, which is a behavioral assessment. You get access to that. You're also going to get that Know Why workshop. You're going to get that talent attraction method, food cost boot camp, extreme menu makeover, marketing machine, restaurant track downloads, strat maps. Plus, I'm going to give you that profit clinic. Plus, what if we gave you a coach? And you actually had a one-on-one call every other week with a certified restaurant coach who's actually going to hold you accountable and also give you solutions for wherever you get stuck. Just trust me, you're going to get stuck. Everybody gets stuck, right? But a coach is almost like, remember I talked about that GPS in the car? Well, the GPS is great because if I put in the car, like say I'm going to Denver to where Luke's at, and I'm in the car and I take a wrong turn, what's the GPS do? Oh, rerouting, and automatically puts me back on track. That's what a coach is for you. I would say coach is that little voice in the GPS saying, you took a wrong turn. Now it's time to turn around and go the right way. That's what a coach does. They put you on the right track. Now, if we were a la carte this stuff, which I've done, I mean, it's huge. It's like $110,000 just for those items alone. But it doesn't stop there. I'm also going to give you access to our Q&A call, which you have access to every Thursday. We do a live Q&A call with me that you can ask questions, get answers. You're also going to get access to our TRC Vault, which is our online community where you can ask questions, get answers. All my restaurant coaches are in there all the time. They're asking questions. So you can ask them any questions you want. Plus, as a bonus, remember I talked about bonuses? I'm going to throw in today my 8-week summer school. That starts in June. You're going to get an 8-week crash course on how to get your restaurant really, really profitable really fast. So it's our 8-week summer school. I do it every year in the summer. It's just 8-week program. Boom, boom, boom. It's down and dirty. We're going to focus on the fundamentals to get you as profitable as fast as we can. Plus, and this is a bonus for today only. You might not be here next week. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Restaurant Success Summit. I charge usually $2,500 a ticket for the Restaurant Success Summit. I'll give you 2 tickets. So normally 8-week summer school is $19.97. The QRA calls are usually because you get replays and all the Q&A calls. That's $12,000. The Vault's $997. And then, of course, $2,500 for each ticket. So that's the bonus for today. All right. Get all of it. All of this today. If you decide that, hey, you know what, Donald, this sounds like a good deal. I think I want to take advantage of that. It's $131,000 in everything in value. I will tell you without a shadow of doubt, for the last 14 years, my coaching programs have worked for 2,800 independent restaurants, right? That's not a bullshit number. 2,800 counting. I'm almost up to actually like almost 2,900. I need to change the numbers up. There are 3 things you need to be successful in life. You need a proven strategy. The accelerator program is proven. Battle tested, 2,800 restaurants worldwide. You need a support system. You got the restaurant growth team. You got my certified restaurant coaches. You have people in your members area. You have people around to give you support. You can reach out to me anytime you like to ask for any questions you have. The only thing that's missing in these thing is right here. You got to be committed to, hey, man, I'm just tired. I'm sick and tired of struggling. I'm sick and tired of not getting the restaurant. I'm sick and tired of sacrificing my life to my business. I will tell you whatever your goals are, wherever you are, wherever you want to be, we can help you get there. But you got to jump in. And I will also tell you this, whatever your goals are, do not wait. This is a true story. September 27th, 2018, I died twice, cardiac arrest. And the reason I tell you this story is that there was a lot of things I wanted to do with my brand, with my business, but I thought I had time. What happens when time's up? Now, if it wasn't for, you want to talk about having cardiac arrest, right place, right time? This is the right place, right time. I fell down after leaving the gym in front of a gun store, which had an off-duty sheriff's deputy who knew CPR. And then another undercover police officer pulled up at the same time. They both gave me CPR until EMS showed up. So I died. They brought me back. I died again. EMS brought me back. I tell you, it was a game changer for me about not waiting. I had so many big plans, so many things I wanted to do. And I just thought I had plenty of time. What if you don't have time? I will tell you now, please do not wait. Oh, if you didn't notice that person on the ground laying there with the shoes, that's me, dead. The guy who saved my life, this is like a funny picture. The guy who saved my life says, I'm going to take a picture of you on the ground dead because you might think this is funny one day. And I was like, oh yeah, now I do. I think it's funny looking back on it. But yeah, that's me on the ground dead with the shoes. I will tell you, please don't wait. Take new action today, all right, to get the restaurant life that you want. I know Luke's going to open it up, but we have a team at the Restaurant Growth. If you want to talk about the Restaurant Accelerator Program, please talk to somebody. All right. We can work out stuff, right? We can make it happen for you. And I want to say, thanks for being here today. I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, we can open up for any Q&A you have.
Yes, Donald, that was incredible. Thank you so much for sharing all that stuff, guys. Again, just to highlight a few things that Donald said, the whole program is designed to make you more money.
That's it.
And increase the profit margins. Simple as that. We could talk about culture and food costing and everything like that. All important stuff. At the end of the day, most of the clients that sign up for Donald's program and his certified restaurant coaches come in at about 5% margin.
Yep.
The average is 19.8 right now. So take your take home pay, whatever you're making right now, and multiply that by 4. And that's typically the average of what we can see. Obviously, you got to do the work, right?
Yeah.
Without a proven system, you got to do the work. So let me just share my screen with you guys real fast, and I'll give you guys all the chance to join this at a reduced rate if you'd like. Let me share this with you guys. So on the call today, if you guys want to take advantage of this, like no pressure at all, but if your margins are not where you want them to be, it's a proven technique.
Yep.
So let me just share my screen with you real fast. Give you guys the rundown on if this is going to be a good fit for you or not. Okay, so this program, the coaching program, is designed for restaurants over 60,000 a month. So if your revenue is over 60,000 a month, and your profit margin is between 0 to 11%, right?
Mhm.
Or if you're not making any money, you're losing money.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes too. Okay, if you're over 60,000 USD and your profits are between 0 to 11, the coaching program can help you increase your margins about 5 to 8% in 90 days. Okay, on average.
5% easy.
There you go. So usually we charge 2,000 for the first month and then 1,500 every month after that. If you sign up on the webinar today, we're going to knock $500 off of that first month. So you just have a flat fee of 1,500 a month for the program. Like Donald mentioned, you got one-on-one coaching. You have one-on-one coaching, 2 calls a month, right? So it's kind of like you're getting a co-CEO for your restaurant. You have one-on-one meetings with them.
Plus you get 3 group calls a week. So if I didn't mention it, so Tuesday is the accelerator call. So I do the group coaching calls for the accelerator program. So every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you're welcome to jump on the accelerator group call Wednesday we have the webinar series, and then Thursday you have the Q&A call. So you get 3 group calls a week still, and a one-on-one call. I mean, it's a lot of coaching.
It's incredible support. Honestly, the team that you've built there, Donald, is incredible. And just to show you guys a bit more, Donald has incredible testimonials from his clients. Take Adam, for example.
Oh my God, Adam
insane
he's
story.
crushing it.
Yeah, doing about 9 million in sales at about 3 to 4% profit.
Was
right? Was, yeah. 8 months later, doing 12% profit across 3 stores.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
he's on track to do 15, actually, just so you know.
Yeah. I love Mike's testimonial as well. He talks about like them being super busy, slam restaurant, 7 days a week, working 12-hour shifts, not making any money.
Yeah, he's in Costa Rica right now, enjoying a vacation. Yeah. So I also notice, like, a lot of times when clients come to me, they don't have any personal life. Like, they're not taking any time off. Most people haven't taken an average in my clients is that they haven't taken a vacation in 7 years. Now they take vacations 4 times regularly, 4 times a year. Yeah. Yep. 4 times a year. Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, guys, if you want help with this stuff, I put a link down there in the chat box. If you click the link in the chat box below, you'll find a payment link for the 1,500 to get started. Again, this is $500 less than what you would do if you talked with a rep one-on-one. So if you want to do it, you can save $500 to do it right now. Once you pay this, we're automatically going to introduce you via email and text to Donald and his team. You guys will have a map call. Basically, this is just a mapping session, right? So you'll have one call to map out the next 90 days. And then Donald will assign you a coach, right?
And we'll get you access to all the programs you saw that I would give you access to. Get access to my accelerator program. You'll get access to my coaching, kind of my back end.
Yep. So so this link for the $500 off is not going to be valid forever. It's going to be valid for the rest of today. So
you only get those bonuses. You only get 2 tickets to the summit and the 8-week restaurant summer, the 8-week summer school. If you sign up today, don't come to me next week, because I might change the bonus next week, or I might just take them off.
Yeah, Donald's gonna raise the price on you. Yes, so that's valid for the rest of the day today. So until midnight tonight, those will be valid. And again, this is a fit for you if you're doing 60,000 a month or more, and profits between 0 to 11%. Samir said, "This is my first webinar, and it happens to be a pitch." Yes, this is a pitch. This is a pitch to help you make more money. So we're going to be doing a lot of training throughout these as well. We'll do trainings like Donald went through today, cultivating a team and having winning mindset. So there's going to be free trainings a part of these as well. We just want to give you guys the option to join the program if you want to.
I call coaching like there's fast, faster, and fastest. Like, you can read books. Trust me, every book you need to learn how to run a successful restaurant is out there. If you want to take the time to read the books, go through the school hard knocks and implement those things a little bit at a time, that's fine. Coaching is the fastest way. Like, if you want to lose weight, you hire a personal trainer. Same thing with a coach. Like, you can learn stuff. Like, and we're not saying that stay in the webinar program. You'll learn some stuff.
Yep, a lot of good stuff we'll cover in these webinars, guys. If you want the one-on-one coaching and you want to get there faster, then the opportunity is there for you. I want to open it up for some questions. I know we're going a little bit over time here, guys. Donald, if you got to jump, feel free.
I'm good.
Guys, if you have any questions, put them in the chat box below. We want to make sure we're here to entertain questions. If you guys want to speak and you want to talk, there's a little raise hand icon here in Zoom somewhere. Click that, and then we can actually get you on here like a human, and you can speak with us. So go in there, throw your questions in the chat box, or just put in the chat box, "Hey, I want to talk," and we can unmute you as well.
You ask me any questions. If you haven't learned this about me, I'm totally brutally honest. So
gotta be right.
I'm totally brutally honest. I mean, come on, you don't write a book called "Your Restaurant Sucks." People think that you're not going to be honest.
You're a straight shooter. Well, guys, and we in this transition towards restaurant growth, we'd had, looked at the market and, we recruited restaurant coaches to see who's going to be the best to partner up with. And Donald and his team was a clear winner. So we're really excited to offer this to the market and, have, again, advertising options where we can help pour more fuel on the fire. But first, get the profits to a good place so that the sales that you have come on in from advertising actually hit your bank account. That's the goal. Lindsay's asking, I wonder if this would work for our concept. We have 2 storefronts and we specialize in charcuterie style catering, delivery and takeout only. Delivery and takeout only.
It works for, the 3P framework works for any concept. Now, your sales model is going to be different based on the volume you can do, what you can take as far as, revenue, what you can do as far as turning out, charcuterie style stuff. But I mean, it's a really great, I've actually did a consulting job in a concept that was very similar like to that in Boston. And they do really, really well. I mean, there's lots of things to look at. I would have to understand your model a lot more. If but I think anything can value from this. Yeah, when I see a charcuterie stuff, I'm asking, like, of course, it makes me want to go down a rabbit hole about asking questions. Do you have a liquor license? Right? Do you just do catering? Is there other things you want to cater? How much space do you have? How much storage space do you have for the kitchen? How much could you expand your catering stuff?
Lindsay, if you want to get on the chat here, I can unmute you if you'd like to talk with Donald about these few things.
Like Mike from Bailey's, he does a takeout and delivery only place, and he does fried seafood, and so he specializes almost like in trays a lot, like they do like a lot of fried stuff, like fried fish platters and things like that, and he crushes it now.
Interesting.
So
okay.
the model can work, and there's some easy things to teach. I can teach you some easy things. I'll give you a low-hanging fruit. I give people a recipe. I did this years ago in the 90s when I did some consulting work. I created this roasted vanilla bean lemonade, and it's the easiest thing to make. The food cost is amazing. I gave Michael the recipe. He sells it now with every order. Everyone gets an upsell of, hey, would you like some roasted vanilla bean lemonade? He sells this vanilla bean lemonade like crazy. It's increased his profit margin and guest check average crazy. And then he just added like some extra add-ons like brownies and cookies to every order. His check average is through the roof. And it all comes from just saying, all right, where are you now? What do you have? What can we augment it with? What can we add to it to add value to it? Yeah.
Lindsay, you are unmuted. You're live. So Donald, if you want to
guys.
ask questions. Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you for thanks for taking my call. So yeah, we do the charcuterie style catering. We have everything from snack cups to lunch boxes to single charcuterie boards to entire grazing tables. So we do events, meetings, lunches. We have grab and goes where people come into the store for lunch and just grab them out of our fridge and take them and go.
Cool.
Because we're not licensed for dine-in. So I was just wondering, I mean, the culture and the people and the process and the products resonates for sure. But I just wonder with your coaching and your program, it's a different concept. So if it would work.
So the coaching program itself is a template, almost like a framework, right? And then that's why you have a coach, because we take the framework, the accelerator program, and then we customize it to your concept. So like coaching is not like one size fits all. Like I'll take the 3P framework because I know that works. And then what we'll do is we'll tweak it and adjust it to meet your concept. Now, what city are you in?
We're in close to Lansing, Michigan, and we have a second store over by Detroit.
Oh, very cool. My restaurants were in Battle Creek.
Oh, I heard you say a hole in the wall in Michigan.
My son just graduated from Michigan State. I was up there last year.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, we do a lot of work for MSU.
Go green. So no, I mean, the best thing I would say is like we can tweak this for your concept, and I can see a lot of potential with your market. I have a concept that now they're in New York City, and they do something very similar to you, and they do 10 million in sales. Oh, no dine-in. Okay. I'll take out and delivery and grab and go. 10 million.
That's where we want. I'd be happy to cross the 1 mark.
Yeah. Well, say that's the number one thing too. And then once we get once we understand your food costs on your stuff, so probably right now, I would say the biggest thing for us is you probably got some of the culture piece in. We'd focus more on the food costing, the menu development, and then we'd work with Luke and his team to really amp up your marketing, make you top of mind, actually see how we can supplement your menu, have some alternative revenue streams to drive more sales and more kind of profitability to that bottom line, and then we can tweak it.
Okay. Yeah, today we just did a trade show to go down the retail
Yeah,
panel.
perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that fiery food show stuff, specialty food shows, those are awesome. And then we could also talk about, we could talk about co-packing too, like making your own dressings, jams, and things like that.
We do make all of our own
Oh, cool.
dips, jams, and hummus in house.
Now we can
So
talk
yeah,
about revenue
figuring-
streams about co-packing and selling stuff online.
Oh yes.
I have a lot of clients who
absolutely.
have co-packing that they sell like their jams, salsas, barbecue sauces, dressings. They sell them like online around the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Of
Yeah, I
course.
was just curious because it was not your typical, if you're looking at closing and opening checklist, completely different than, a regular sit down restaurant.
Mhm. And then Jonathan said, I'm a business consultant, work with Latin America. Would you be willing to have a conversation? So in my coaching, I have certified restaurant coaches that are only people I really work with. And I have a certified restaurant coach who speaks Spanish fluently. So at this point in time, I don't think that would be something. Yeah, profit margin before owner. Yes, always before.
Yeah, I got that aspect covered, it sounds like.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, anybody
Awesome.
else got any other questions? Ashley, Christian, Lisa, Javier, Lindsay spoke up. That was awesome. Samir, Tuan. Just want to thank you guys all for being here for about 68 minutes. It's been
It's been awesome, man. I
a great
appreciate it.
webinar. We're going to do this every Wednesday, guys. So make sure you got this on your calendar, 2 p.m. Pacific time every Wednesday.
Perfect. Yeah.
We're going to be doing different topics every week. So obviously this week we focus a lot on, the building a nice team and having that winning culture and that winning mindset. We're going to keep going down different topics. So make sure you join every week, and you guys get a lot of value from it for sure.
Yeah, and I'll introduce you to some of my other certified restaurant coaches too, because they have some really unique like specialties and things that they focus on. So you get a chance to meet a little bit of everybody. And here's the thing too, like, you're going to get a chance to kind of feel out like, I like that coach. That coach really resonates with me. It's like, I'm not a right fit for everybody. Trust me. But here's the thing I do know, that we want to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's the webinars, guys, keep joining these. Whether you want more one-on-one,
That's awesome.
One-on-one coaching, either way is going to be good for you. No pressure at all. Whatever's best in your situation. Again, the coaching one-on-one is going to help you go a bit faster, but these webinars will get you a lot of value as well. Donald, do you want to close with anything?
I just want to say thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here with us. That shows a lot about you, that you're willing to expand your mind and be open to new ideas, new concepts. I hope you got some gold nuggets. You can always, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to the restaurant growth team.
We could be called that for a while. People are going to.
Restaurant growth team. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for joining us today, and hope to see you guys here next week. All right.
Thank you.
Have a nice one. Bye.